Hello and welcome to the Warcraft 3 audio commentary. It's going to be a 1v1 game on the Battle.net ladder. This is actually going to be an unranked game. I was testing out the unranked sort of matchmaking and also testing out a new mouse that I'm sort of trying to get used to the size and the weight and stuff. But anyways, this is going to be a random orc, and I'm against an elf, and I'm going to do something a little bit bizarre. Sort of hard taking the Torn, which seems a little crazy. Excuse me, but because to build Torn you need tier 3, so you're going to basically be conceding some leverage across the map a little bit. I'm going to try to harass and get my hero out there and use, salves and stuff, but probably around the 5 to 10 minute mark, it's going to be hard for me to keep pace in terms of if he is producing units and I'm not, right? So it will be hard at a certain point against a competent player to contest the map, which leaves him options to like a fast expand or just hard creep all over the place, or a mixture of both, right? He can creep hard and also expo. Alternatively, he could try to like Ancient Protector push me, which looking back actually probably would have worked out somewhat, right? If he chooses to Ancient Protector push me and I'm already like about to be tier 2, or I am tier 2, I just throw up a barracks like in the back of the base, get up a couple of demos, and it generally doesn't really work out if you get like 2 demos out, as long as I keep like towers and stuff up, which isn't really all that hard if I just get like 2 or 3 towers in decent positioning. And you have something like 4 to 6 archers and like a level 1 or 2 hero. Right, it can be quite hard pushing in towers, even with archers, even with like 1 glaive thrower, because the archers actually are not, until you get the upgrade, they are heavy armor, not fortified, so they don't take extra damage from the glaive throwers. Now, they will take a little bit more, or they will take significantly more damage from archers than other buildings before you get that upgrade, but the towers are going to outrange the archers, and then the burrows will also outrange the archers at tier 1, so if they're in range of towers and burrows, the archers generally are going to be too squishy to really stand in there, and just keep taking shots, right? And you can repair. He's not going to have a means to really heal his archers right there in the battle, probably. Now, if he has a Moonwell or something, he will potentially be able to do that, but nothing really to compare to your ability to mass repair with, multiple peons. So, like I said, it's hard for him to win a war of attrition in that scenario because, like, all of his healing is back at his base, all of his production is back at his base. Whereas if I pop out, like, 1 barracks in a good position, and then I make a Demolisher range is going to be good against protectors. It's going to be, it's not amazing against heroes or archers per se, but archers are quite squishy, and the Demolisher does splash damage, so assuming he's not perfectly dodging every attack, which he again could potentially do with these small numbers of units, and a hero that's probably relatively quick, he could probably dodge pretty well with the units, but if he's going to keep Ancient Protector, now I can come up with a TC against the Demon Hunter. This is not really good for me because he can mana burn me out quite easily, and he doesn't have a lot of units to target with Shockwave right now. Now, this would actually be a really good shot for Shockwave. I saw the Moonwells all together, and I was like, oh, I'll just hit the Moonwells, and that's what I did, because his Demon Hunter was on me. And now I don't have any mana. I do have a Clarity Potion and Healing Salves, which I'm going to use. And I'm going to go buy a Boots of Speed here in a second, which is, on this map, is in the middle. This is a map I don't really play very frequently. So I haven't played a lot of games on it. So it looks kind of like that one of the other maps. I forget the name of it. Where there's a shop at the top right in the bottom left areas. But anyways, he's Ancient War creeping. His APM's not that impressive as you're looking, but his grasp of strategy doesn't seem as bad as some other people. Like, he's Ancient War creeping, generally pretty efficient. The Demon Hunter, a pretty good hero. He shifted some wisps. Maybe he didn't do it already, but he's going to body block with Wisp, and that sounds really silly, but he's going to body block with like a full health Wisp to save another Wisp to get it into the Entangled Gold Mine, which is going to be actually pretty decent. I don't know if he saves this one. Does he save it? Oh my goodness, he brings a Wisp, body blocks. I don't know if he needed to body block there. I sort of was peeling, I think I was peeling back anyway before that even came up, because I figured he was close enough, and he looked like he was sending it to the entangled gold mine. So I didn't think I was going to get the last shot anyway. But the body block was there to sort of definitely deny it regardless. So props to him for that. Generally, when you see people with like APM below 100, especially like below 70, I don't think you really see a lot of body blocking and a lot of people that have good sort of strategy, because it seemingly doesn't take a lot to get your APM to be over 100, 100 to 120 or something, 150. It doesn't, I mean, to me, it doesn't seem like that's a lot of effort, but I mean, if your clicks are counting and you're doing proper strategy, it's not that you absolutely, can't win games with this level of APM. It's just generally a lot easier if you're, if you're microing more, right? But maybe every single click he's doing is perfect. In that case, it could, like I said, he could still, have a decent sort of, showing or whatever. But anyways, in his base build, like, it looks like he's got a good spot for the lore. I think he puts one over here somewhere. We'll see. Like, generally, a lot of times when I see people with this low APM, that like the rest of their game is as bad as their micro levels. Right. So yeah, but he looks like he's getting the right unit. He's going to end up going Druids of the Claw, which is a pretty good choice in general. Now, he doesn't know if I'm going to mass air or not, so it's a little bit risky, but you can get Dryads and Archers, so it's not like he can't make any anti-air out of Ancients of Lore. I'm going to stick around too much here. I run to the left and end up running into the Tree of Life, getting one attack, and oof, he gets one last shot on me. That was really a little bit disappointing. I thought I made it away, and I was like, is that last hit going to get me? Level 1 Archer attacks basically do between 8 and 9 damage on heroes. Well, actually, I didn't account for the specific hero armor number, so that's probably not true. But the raw damage, after adjusting for the hero armor, not the armor level though. So, anyways, that's some obscure stuff. Anyways, he come to my base. He's going to target something that is probably one of the worst things he can target, right? In the Tauren Totem. The reason is it has fortified armor, it has 900 hit points, and I have 3 of them. So if he knocks out one, I still have 2 other ones. He doesn't really, he's not really denying me very much there, especially since I don't have the resources to utilize all 3. Now, if I could utilize all 3, killing it would deny me, some, I mean, it denies you some value, but it's not really a lot of value when you have 2 other ones. Like if he denies me the shop, or the altar, or he kills my hero, either of those is really going to be more value, because I can sort of more quickly utilize that stuff. I only have 1 altar and only have 1 shop, right? Now, it does take me more resources, I think, to rebuild a totem than it does to rebuild a shop. But in terms of what I can actually do with this shop versus this Tauren Totem, in light of the other 2 Tauren Totems that I will still have, it's okay. But anyways, I pick up a Blade Master. I want some tanky heroes that can sort of be pretty powerful, even with no mana in this scenario. So the Blade Master, Windwalk can allow me to dodge mana burns a little bit, get in and out of positions, and use my mana sort of proactively, right? I don't need to line up like really good shots for Windwalk. I can just Windwalk and attack something. I do want to avoid his Demon Hunter, and then when the Blade Master is out of mana, he still has a decent amount of hit points, and he does a decent amount of damage. Critical Strike costs 0 mana, so it's a passive. So as I level, he will never be able to stop well, I take that back. Denying me mana will never stop the Critical Strike damage. The only way to stop that is to get my Blade Master low enough where I can't attack him, or to entangle me or cyclone me or something. So, so yeah, as long as the Blade Master is out there attacking, Critical Strike is going to be adding value. Similarly with the TC, as soon as I get Endurance Aura, that will always be adding damage to everything and move speed. So, and third, I'm going to pick up a Pit Lord, another hero with a passive ability, Cleave, and I'm actually going to pick Cleave first. I would have gotten a pretty decent amount of value out of Howl of Terror here. So that probably would have been better to pick that first. Actually, reducing 2 Druza Claw and 2 heroes and possibly some archers damage by 30%, temporarily is much stronger than level 1 cleave on a hero with no damage. And, level 1 hero damage. 28 to 38 damage a hit, or averaging out at about 33 damage, it looks like. Should be, but level 1 cleave isn't that big of a percentage. I forget what the actual number is, but it gets up to 90% at level 3, right? So at level 3, it's absolutely monstrous against ground armies, and also at level 3, your hero does more damage. It's a percentage-based thing, so your hero does more damage, and it scales with a lot of items, right? Damage items, attack speed items, the aura, the Kodo's aura, the TC aura, right? And theoretically, it doesn't exactly scale with like hit point items and armor items and agility items, but well, I guess it sort of scales with agility items, but because of attack speed, but it does have synergy with those, because the more hit points you have and the more armor you have, the more attacks you can generally stand in there and deliver. So yeah, it's all a good deal. And then plus strength items, again, are going to add to your damage, which is also going to, so yeah, he's got these Druids of the Claw, but they're only adept level. He cannot afford to lose any of this. He needs a staff. He needs to micro them better. And I've got an orb. So if I don't have the orb, I don't really have any sort of what some people will call catch, right? Or maybe sort of crowd control, right? No means to sort of lock his units down. But if I have a Blade Master with an orb, or even on the TC with boots with the orb is pretty decent too. I'm going to be able to, if the Blade Master is actually attacking stuff, there is a, what's the percentage? 15%? 25%? It doesn't show the percentage here. I feel like it's 20. Maybe it's 20%. I'll say 20. I'm not sure. I'll look it up after, I guess, maybe. But anyways, there's some chance that I'll hit a purge on every attack. And on an agility hero, the attacks come relatively quick. His attack speed is good. Now, he's going to come really close. He has Phantom Knives. If he had Shadow Strike, I think he kills me there, maybe. But because it slows the move speed. But anyways, I'm going to get into this, run him into the camp. He's going to run his hero. He didn't micro his hero back. So his Warden, is going to go from basically full health to dead. And he didn't get the experience. And I'm going to pull a Peon Hero Surround. Boom. Demon Hunter down. Did he have I assume he had a TP still, but maybe he didn't. So yeah, he should have TP'd there. At the very least, not getting surrounded up, obviously, is sort of priority number 1 there. But alternatively, plan B would be to TP if he gets surrounded at level 2. But look at his base. His base is actually quite solid. To get to these Ancients of Lore, I'm going to have to run through basically past one Ancient of Lore, and then to get to the other one, seemingly I'm going to have to run by his Tree of Eternity. This base build, honestly, is probably something to emulate. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if this was, if someone just looked at it, they would say, wow, that's, that's about, possibly one downfall is he needs to have maybe eaten these trees or something, built a Ancient of Wonders, and cleared this area out somehow so he can put an Ancient of Wonders right there. But past that, I mean, this base is about as well as I can imagine him constructing a base. There's entrances and exits for units there. Yet it also drives sort of funnels you next to the Tree of Eternity if you have melee units. Now you might say it's not super easy to get in and out of with bears against, let's say, headhunters, right? But it's also not easy to get in and out of with grunts and Tauren to sort of counter or sort of cancel the Ancients of Lore as they're building, which is sort of a pretty important thing, right? If you don't get your lores up, if they manage to time an attack when you hit tier 2, cancel your lores, or cancel your Ancients of Wind, for example, you will probably need 3 Ancients of Wind if you're going to do that strategy, but But yeah, canceling those buildings is gonna. You wouldn't need a Hunter's Hall, so you could probably plop that other Ancient Wind right there. But so the base build still would probably be fine in that scenario. Um, but yeah, it looks like it's pretty solid. You want your units coming out in the base, especially if they're ranged. So having it towered, I mean, but it's like any kind of base. If there's like tower, I mean, I don't know. It's like, would you want your lords out front to stop the towers? Well, it's pros and cons, right? If they're out front, they're more easily cancelable, before they're finished, and then your units are coming out in sort of an exposed location. So like I said, pros and cons. We're both just gonna creep a bit. I'm gonna have a lot of AOE damage between Polarize and Cleave, and Shockwave, arguably. And I'm gonna get mashed. Eventually, I'm gonna get master level Spirit Walkers, which is gonna be quite hard for him to deal with. In fact, I say that, but he has a Demon Hunter, so technically he needs to just man it. Like one of his main priorities, maybe even before dealing with the heroes, is if I get master level walkers, I don't know. I guess getting the heroes mana first and then the Spirit Walkers, because you really just need the mana to be gone before the Torrens die. And killing the Torrens is actually going to be quite difficult because they have 1300 health. So it's actually probably easier to focus heroes with bears. So that's probably what he's going to do. And also, Torrent don't scale. Like, they don't scale as units are traded off. So the heroes do. So in terms of what he would like to kill first, he would love to kill the heroes first. It's just, generally, heroes tend to be, especially these strength heroes and the Blade Master, they're actually pretty sturdy. Right, look at this Pit Lord, 1,025 hit points, only with one Gauntlets item, His Demon Hunter level 3, even with the Gauntlets, only 800 hit points, right? So there's a massive difference in hit points there. He has Rejuvenation, which he's going to use to quite good effect here. And if I managed to kill a bear on the way out, which was quite important. That's basically 1/4 of his bears that he had. So, but yeah, if I don't kill that bear, for example, and I TP out, boom, he just rejuvenates it. Boom, he uses, well, there's no moon wells left, right? But he has plenty of mana to rejuvenate stuff. So yeah, that's his advantage, is rejuvenation, right? He has pretty good sustain in the form of rejuvenation. He had decent sustain in the form of moon wells. Right now they're pretty much drained, but I suspect that's because he put the mana on the bears or the Druid of the Claw, and then they're gonna heal each other and da da da. So he's gonna go creeping. He's gonna scout this to make sure I didn't expand. Which this is like the Turtle Rock, like a middle camps level of creeps, right? The sort of the exact same, as far as I can recall, the exact same creeps at this camp. He has pulled his Ancient of War all the way down here. So again, this guy's grasp of strategies and creep routes. I don't know why he pulled all the way back over there while the Ancient of War is getting attacked, but he does avoid the chaos damage turtle, which I guess does make sense. He needs to put the Ancient of War. I don't know why he didn't run behind the Ancient of War. That would have been probably the move. But anyways, I bring peons over, and this is the timing where I want to hit. I don't really want to have to contend with hit and run and possibly give him time for Chimera or something. I don't want to really fight 12 bears with rejuvenation, even though I do, hopefully I will be casting Disenchant to deal with rejuvenation. So I do have Dispel, right? It's not that I don't have Dispel, and it's not that Tauren really per se are going to get overwhelmed by Druids of the Claw, because technically, if we have just the more Tauren I have, the more AoE I'm going to do, and the more units he has that are going to be in range of that AoE, probably the better. So Pulverize and Cleave, and arguably Shockwave, are going to be great in this scenario. But yeah, again, he can also get Fairy Dragons, so Mana Flare could potentially be an issue. Air units, any kind of air units, I'm a little bit weak to, right? I do have orbs on the Pit Lord and the Blade Master, and I have a couple of Spirit Walkers. And if these towers go up, right, I'll have the towers. But yeah, before the towers go up, I'm quite weak to air, right? The TC doesn't have an orb. His abilities don't really affect air typically. Cleave, again, also as the primary skill, is generally not going to affect air. That's unwebbed or ensnared. But yeah, this is a great position for me. Pulverize is going to be hitting his whole army. Let me go to I guess full speed, and we can look at the pulverized lands. Boom, boom. I think Pulverize ignores armor, kind of like Cleave ignores armor. So if that's true, that's pretty good. But yeah, he loses a lot of stuff. Tauren are really good against heroes, kind of like bears are generally pretty decent against heroes as well, if they're going to stand in there and fight. The other thing is, I can revive Tauren. I killed my own Tauren there. It was almost dead anyway. I kill it, boom, instant revive. Boom, free Tauren. He doesn't get the experience. That's a big deal, right? Rejuve or revive, right? If he rejuves from like nearly dead, a dead bear, and he rejuves it all the way up to full health or whatever, or he staffs it and uses the moon wells, right? It's very effective and it's very demoralizing. Um, if you see a bear nearly die and then get healed, just like if you see a hero nearly die and heal, or get staffed and heal and come back, it's kind of like seeing a Tauren die and revive. Or especially if you see the enemy kill his own Tauren, it gets to like 100 health or 50 health or something. I wouldn't really suggest, Tauren can look like they're in the red, but they can still have like 200 health because they have so much health. I wouldn't recommend killing your own Tauren when it has like 200 health. But if it gets down to like 100 or something, or under 100, you can think about killing it. Or if it's like, he's at like, maybe 150, and the end of the battle is cleared and you don't have any way to heal it. I mean, and you can insta heal it completely with the revive. I mean, go ahead and kill it, right? If you're not doing anything else with the attacks, right, then it makes sense to kill your own Tauren, and revive it. If you think they're gonna, I mean, you're never really. It's not likely you're gonna heal it all the way up like 1100 health, right? Like you don't have like a big reju, right? Healing multiple shots of healing salve would be required, and that's a lot of time. So that's the idea. You want to deny them the experience. Killing Tauren and bears, it's a lot of experience. Those are big units. And it's a game of inches. Every little bit of experience, could make the difference between winning and losing. This game was a little bit lopsided, right? Like I said, I'm trying to think of what he could have done is he had a pretty decent idea. Hey, this guy seemingly his teching doesn't have any units. Let me push him and see what I can do. His timing wasn't actually bad. He the only thing he needed to add to that is Ancient Protectors, I think. But I will say the risk of doing that, he has to bring the glaive throwers really fast as well. Because if he doesn't, if he gets Ancient Protectors up and he just has archers and a demon hunter, right? Like maybe 4 to 6 archers, a demon hunter. I already have the towers up. I already have burrows. All I have to do really, I've already got the war mill. If I have room in the back of my base, I build a barracks. I get 1 or 2 demos out, and it becomes way easier for me to hold than for him to sort of overwhelm me. And if he doesn't have glaive throwers when I have demos, it's nearly, I don't say impossible, but it's very, very unlikely that he's going to beat me. And that's now if I'm really sloppy with the demo and I like send it out in the front away from the towers and he just kills it. Well, yeah, but the demo has extreme range, so he can actually fight back from inside the base. So if all I have to control is like the area just outside of my base, the demos can do that. And then it forces him to hold, so he can't really do much into my base. The Tauren totem positions weren't really good. That's why building protectors out there could have been that, and I don't have a barracks at all. So it would have been I would have had to build a barracks and then build a demo. So yeah, there's that window where if he can, if I have to build a barracks, then he gets a glaive thrower and protectors up. And then he can sort of kite me and sort of, take free shots at my base. And then it just comes down to who gets more, who gets better siege units and more siege units basically, because they're very similar, and who micros them better, and who gets the better positioning. And if he's got lots of room to micro and move around out there, the demo attacks are maybe a little bit easier to dodge than the glaive thrower attacks. Plus, I have a bunch of buildings. He may or may not have a bunch of buildings. He can actually move his buildings. They're slow, but they can move and heal themselves. Right, so it becomes, it's sort of a simple, situation to sort of micro and, he sort of understands, okay, I need the glaive throwers, I need to kill, possibly kill the demos or possibly kill the burrows, or if you see the barracks in a bad position, kill the barracks so he can't make more demos, right? It's not really super complicated, and there's not a lot of units and stuff, so I do like strategies like this, But like I said, the downside for the elf in that scenario is glaive throwers are quite fragile compared to demolishers. They're just fragile in general, I should say, but definitely compared to demos, they're fragile. Even though their cost is pretty similar. There's one less food for the glaive, and I think like 35 less gold, right? But otherwise, they're relatively close in cost. Demos can get armor upgrades. Glaive throwers cannot. Glaive throwers only benefit from attack upgrades. Um, Let me see. Archers pretty squishy units just in general, so they don't really offer a. They're depending on the base layout, they can maybe pressure some towers and stuff. Maybe some burrows if the base is really poorly built. And then if there's like buildings, like a shop or production buildings that are sort of uncovered by not really defended by the towers, they can sit there and attack those, right? But they're not really good against. They're not really that good against heroes either. Now, if you have like 4 to 6 of them, it's not that they don't do any damage. It's just that piercing damage is quite significantly reduced. It's cut in half basically against hero armor. So I think I said I was going to look up the cleave damage. So I'll do that real quick and see the percentage. 40% of level 1. Okay, so that's pretty good. Ignores armor. Oh, I should look up pulverize too to see if that ignores armor. I think it does, but I'm not really sure. Area effect damage. It doesn't say anything about ignoring armor. At level 1, it does 20. Oh, wait. No, that's area coverage. Okay, there's a 25% chance of dealing area effect damage. Full radius to 50. Full damage is 20. Half damage. Oh, that's right at 1030. So, or no, half damage. Okay, at level 1, it does 20 damage at full. Full damage is 20. Half damage is 10. And then at upgraded, it is tripled to 60, and then half damage is 30. So, but unupgraded pulverize is actually pretty weak. I didn't realize it was quite that. I thought it was like half and half. So it was actually 3 times as much. So definitely get that pulverize upgrade. I mean, if you're going Tauren, you want to get that anyway. But yeah, for sure. But yeah, I don't know if it ignores armor. But yeah, the reason I thought it was double was because I think the Kodo upgrade is double. I think it goes from 10% to 20%. 10% upgrades, it increases it to 20. So yeah, I mean that's it's upgrades aren't always very similar that way. So maybe it was a bit of a weird guess. Just to think that it was double. So yeah, I feel like it ignores armor. I feel like pulverize might ignore armor, but I'm not 100% there. It might be reduced by armor as the regular attack is. But cleave definitely does ignore armor though. So it's physical. Yeah, notes. Cleave damage ignores armor, as I said. So pretty good when you've got a hero swinging for big damage that ignores armor. Well, it doesn't affect buildings. So I was gonna say, it's a building, but it doesn't affect buildings at all. So it would probably be totally broken if it did. But what can you do? So yeah. But anyways, AOE, kind of funny that I did a bunch of AOE sort of things to him with Shockwave, Cleave, and Pulverize. But I don't know if that AOE is supposed to stand for, quote, area of effect, acronym that you've probably heard me say if you've listened to these, or we've heard people talk about the game. AoE spells, but or abilities. Right. But it could. Age of Empires is also the context of gamers. Heard people say that too. So, anyways, though, that's going to be the end of this audio. Again, if you can take anything away from this replay, big heroes, big units, big wins. Not always the case. Small units have their place as well, but I mean, come on, 1,300 hit points, 10,000, 35 hit points or whatever for that pit lord. Big heroes. Takes a lot to take those big heroes and big units down. But anyways, this is gonna be the end of the audio. ScryMind signing out.